Chinedu, please don't go. I'm begging you.
Let go of me, Ngozi.
Chinedu. Lord, please change his heart. Make Chinedu love me again. I beg you, soften his spirit. Let him see my pain. Give me strength, Lord. Chinedu, please, at least eat something.
I'm not hungry.
Just a little, please.
Leave me be.
Ngozi believed something with her heart, that if she prayed enough, loved enough, endured enough, God would fix her marriage. But what if the very thing she was fighting to keep was the very thing God was trying to pull her out of? Ngozi had always been that girl, the quiet girl, the respectful girl, the one who never argued even when she had every reason to. At 24, while others chased careers, fashion, and freedom, Ngozi chased something different, a godly home. Not just marriage, but a marriage that honored God. She used to say it often to her friends, Ifoma, I don't just want a husband, I want a man who fears God. Ifoma would laugh lightly. And what if the man doesn't exist? Ngozi would smile confidently. He does, God will bring him. And she believed. Then she met Chinedu. It happened at a church program. He wasn't just present, he was leading, confident, calm, and commanding. When he spoke, people listened. When he prayed, people cried. Ngozi felt it immediately. This is him. After the service, he approached her. I've been seeing you around, he said, smiling. Ngozi lowered her eyes shyly. Really? Yes, he replied. There's something different about you. That was all it took. The relationship moved quickly, but it felt right. They prayed together, fasted together, attended every church service side by side. Chinedu will often hold her hands and say, I asked God for a wife who would submit to his will. You are that woman. Ngozi felt chosen, special, and honored. And when he proposed, she didn't hesitate.
Ngozi, will you marry me?
The wedding was everything she dreamed of. Music, celebration, smile. Her mother cried tears of joy. Her pastor spoke with conviction. This is a union ordained by God. At the altar, Chinedu leaned closer and whispered, you belong to me now, forever. Ngozi smiled. She thought it was love. The chain didn't come like a storm. It came like a whisper, subtle, almost invisible. Why are you laughing so loudly? He asked one evening. Ngozi blinked. I didn't think it was so loud. A woman of virtue carries herself with dignity, he said. She nodded quickly. I'm sorry. That night, she stood in front of the mirror, practicing how to laugh quietly. Weeks turned into months, and the correction became constant. You talk too much, you think too much, you question too much. Every disagreement became disrespect. Every opinion became rebellion. One evening, Ngozi finally gathered courage. I feel like you don't listen to me anymore. Chinedu's expression hardened. Because you don't speak like a wife who understands authority. Silence filled the room. Ngozi swallowed her words. Soon, Chinedu stopped arguing. He started quoting, wives, submit to your husbands. He repeated it like a command, like a law, like a weapon. If Ngozi hesitated, he added, do you want to disobey God? That question always ended the conversation because Ngozi feared one thing more than everything else, failing God. Slowly, Ngozi began to disappear. She stopped calling Ifoma. She distracts you, Chinedu said.
Good wife endures.
She stopped visiting her mother. They don't understand our spiritual journey, he said. Even in church, she changed. She no longer spoke freely. She no longer laughed openly. She became quiet, careful, and invisible. Because one of the things abuses does to you in marriage is that it shrinks you and it separates you from people who truly care about you. To the outside world, they were perfect. Chinedu was admired, respected, and revered. People called him a true man of God. And Ngozi, she smiled beside him because no one saw what happened behind closed doors. And even if they did, would they believe her? It was a simple question. Can we talk? Ngozi asked softly. Chinedu sighed. About what now? About us. He turned slowly. What about us? Ngozi's voice trembled. I am not happy. The room froze. What did you say? Tears filled her eyes. I feel like I'm losing myself. That was the moment everything changed. Chinedu stepped closer, slowly, dangerously calm. You are ungrateful, he said quietly. Ngozi shook her head. No, you said what? His voice rose. You think you can question me after everything I've done for you? Ngozi stepped back, heart pounding. I'm not questioning you. I just want peace. He laughed, a cold, unfamiliar sound. Peace? You don't deserve peace if you can't respect your husband. Then he said words she would never forget. You are nothing without me. Everywhere went silent and heavy and crushing. Ngozi felt something inside her collapse, not loudly, but dramatically, just quietly breaking. That night, she couldn't sleep. At 3 a.m., she sat on the floor, cold and alone, tears falling silently. For the first time in years, she didn't pray for her marriage. She whispered, God, am I supposed to stay here? The question hung in the air, and for the first time, she wasn't afraid of the answer. In that silence, something shifted. A thought, a realization, a truth that she had been avoiding. What if endurance is not always obedience? What if silence is not always submission? What if God never asked her to suffer like this? The next morning, Chinedu acted normal, as if nothing happened, as if nothing was wrong. But Ngozi had changed right inside her. She looked at him differently, not with fear, but with clarity. And for the first time, she asked herself, if God really loves me, why do I feel worthless with this man? Days passed, then weeks. The thought never left her until one morning she packed a small bag, her hands trembling, her heart racing, but her mind steady. Chinedu was not home, so it was very much easier for her to escape. She stood at the door, looked back one last time at the house she felt would be her future, at the house she thought she was building with her husband, at the life she built that she was leaving behind, at the version of herself she lost, and she whispered, God, I trust you. Then she walked away. People talked, of course, they did. Some people said she didn't pray enough. Others said she gave up too quickly. A good wife should endure. Ngozi heard it all, but this time she didn't break. Months later, Ngozi sat by a window, sunlight on her face, peace in her heart. For the first time in years, she could breathe. She could think, she could feel like herself again. She realized something powerful. God was never asking her to stay broken. He was calling her back to life. So can you be in a toxic marriage and still want to please God? Yes. But can you be in a toxic marriage and still please God? It is very difficult. And another real question is, would a loving God ask you to stay where you are being destroyed? Or is he the one giving you the courage to walk away? If this story touched you, type I choose peace and subscribe, because some stories are not just stories. Some stories are real life stories.